Welcome to Bonn Park.
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 Do you enjoy Bonn Park podcast?
If so, we would really appreciate it if you
Leave a review.
like, rate, subscribe, but most importantly,
Share directly from the platforms.
with your family and friends. That's the best way to get the word out to everybody, and more people will get to see our show that way. So click those like buttons and share our show. Thank you.
Thanks.
On with the show. This is it.
To tell you, Dad. It's the year 2000.
It's my nickname, Dad.
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. Sorry about your luck, pal.
It's the year 2000. I love that. Did you ever see that Conan O'Brien skit for years? Like they had this bit that was like, in the year 2000. And they were like predicting the year 2000. And they would just say the stupidest shit.
I love Conan O'Brien.
I do. What I heard from Mila Kunis, well, last time I was talking to Mila Kunis.
When she texted you, hey, Sarah, it's me, Meal. What's up? I was just on Conan.
Who is that?
Mila Kunis.
Yeah.
She would have been Jackie on that 70s show.
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
And she's a bad mom, and she's an NFT superstar now and creator of Stoner Cats. I actually saw her on Hot Ones because Marshall got me hooked on the show Hot Ones on YouTube.
Great?
We love it.
Yeah.
But she was saying
So
Conan
good.
O'Brien is her neighbor. And that she's like, there's only one version of Conan O'Brien. There's no stage Conan O'Brien. Or she's like, that's him all the time. Like, I love that.
Him on The Simpsons.
Oh,
is like my favorite I love The Simpsons.
Same.
But though the period where he's writing and when Bart is the I didn't do it boy and he's like trying to make conversation and he's like, all right, we're taking a break, and Bart starts dancing like, sit perfectly still, only I may dance.
It probably says it's totally
stupid.
deadpan. I love that. I'm just remembering now that you have this wonderful gift for voices, and we were talking about Bob's Burgers last time.
Yeah.
Let's just start. This
Yeah,
is it.
okay.
This is our
doing it.
podcast.
Yeah.
We're just doing it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Should we start with Bob's Burgers?
Yeah. Well, I would say that when we last talked to Sassy Ray, I went and seeked out all the voice actors for Bob's Burgers.
Yes.
I never went to look to see who those people were, and like anything with voice acting, you're like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And but I was just fascinated by them, especially
They're just great.
Lynn and
Linda.
Linda. Yeah.
Jane Louise, we're going to Tina's karate concert.
When did you realize you were able to do that?
I've always been a parrot. Yeah. I'm very good at accents as well. We can go down that avenue.
Let's
this
go
evening
down all the
if you'd
avenues
like
this evening.
Yeah.
I just have I play music by ear. So I just have a knack for mimicking sounds. I'm like a parrot that was left in front of the TV and abandoned.
We were left in front of the TV also.
Yeah,
We get it. Yeah.
we're all kind of, if you're from the 70s and 80s, this is a big part of being raised was a lot of jingles, a lot of commercials, taking up a lot of real estate up there. And I think like pretty much immediately because I just love Linda and Gail. So I love all of the characters, but Linda especially, her songs and she sounds a lot like my mom's family is American. They're not from like New Jersey or anyways. I think that's Linda's kind of tinge that way, East Coast. But she's from Illinois. She was from Illinois, so she has that real like, oh my God, like she'd go, Pat. My brother's name is Patrick. Pat, it's so hot in here. Are you hot?
Does she also wear slacks?
She did. She was a wearer of slacks. Oh, you know what? Part of my rudeness, but I'm going to take out my retainers.
Oh yeah, this is like the beginning of the Billie Eilish,
right?
last
Here we
Billie
go.
Eilish album. The Invisalign is coming out.
Are you staring at my neck brace?
Do you want a little bowl or something?
No,
Do you have a
because
little
I'll
dish?
throw them out.
Oh, I see. They're just like the one time.
But look how beautiful my teeth look.
Oh yeah, fantastic. How long have you had them?
You know what? I just got them mid-September, and
you
I
feeling?
will have straight teeth by the end of January.
Amazing. I had braces as a young child, and they're turning. My teeth are turning, and it's something I notice in photos because because of the braces, I've always had perfectly straight teeth. So now that they're going back to where they belong, where I was born with them,
from
I
whence they
notice it all
came.
the time. From whence
Yeah.
they came.
The fiery chasm from whence they came. I had braces and I had my palate split.
Yeah, so
for
did my
like
daughter.
3.5 years as a kid.
Yeah.
And then you get your braces off and they're like, wear this retainer forever. Well, I'm 15. Like, fuck you guys.
I
I'm not
wanna
wearing
kiss
a
boys.
retainer.
Like, I'm not-
I'm not wearing a retainer. That's gross. And now I'm almost 40 and I got jacked teeth. So
Are you almost 40?
I'm almost 40.
You
but
look
I have
fucking fabulous.
really good skin.
You do. You have really good skin.
Thank you. Very oily.
The oily's good though.
Oily's
yeah,
great.
it keeps you young.
You just take that extra sebum and you just pat right underneath the eyes like that.
I'm not even joking. If I've been out and without no access, I will take that. I've just recently found out that this is called a nasal labial fold.
That's right.
So I'll scoop that oil kind out and just
Scoop
bring it up
it.
to the
That's
temple.
right.
just sort of bring it up to the temple.
One smooth motion.
I feel like I'm watching the Home Shopping Channel.
I know, which you are a fan
Yeah,
of.
Dimitri and skin with 2 ends. Yeah.
Yes, on something that rotates
Yes.
and the fingernails clicking.
Yep.
And it's
And
the
oh,
best something you've ever.
That feel, isn't that just something? And this is actually on special right now. 4 months at $49.99. That is a door buster. Okay.
What's the tally right now, Jeff? And he's like, there's only 10 left. I like when they have the jewelry and they talk about rings and they're like, look at the undercarriage.
Yeah.
Doesn't that mean like balls? What is
That's what I thought.
Or
but
like
it's
car?
the under part of the ring, which everyone loves and sees all the time. It's a selling feature of jewels.
Sometimes
no
I want to like wish they would do like some split screen with like something going on in the Sudan or
Yeah. Oh my
Ethiopia or
god.
something where people are suffering.
I've heard
terribly.
more than one guest on Hot Ones say this is why other countries terrorize us
Yeah.
because of what we're doing here.
Yeah, exactly.
This is why.
Yeah.
Eating food hurts and it's a funny joke.
Yeah, and like let's throw it out after a little nibble.
Yeah. Oh, that was too much for me. Yeah. Well,
I always laugh when the Home Shopping Channel has an item like the Vitamix and they say you can throw away every other appliance in your house if you have Vitamix. It'll
Even
do
the
everything.
vacuum.
Right.
Yeah, it'll do everything
All of it.
and it'll do it better, right? And then 2 hours later, there's some kind of blender or some other kind of thing.
You're gonna need
And
this.
You're going to need this.
real bad.
Like, but you just said.
I don't think they're expecting the long continuity
No.
or continuation of viewing that you're
No.
putting
Right.
in.
Yeah.
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 While you work.
Yeah.
While you hustle for sponsors
Yeah.
for Bonn Park Podcast.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hey, Sassy Ray, when you're talking about your teenage years, so when I hear you sing now on a performance on YouTube, I can tell you have you have a lot of power in that voice, but you also fully understand restraint and how to use it. And when did you realize? Was it in your teenage years that you were like, wow, I can, really belt something out?
It was when I was a little girl. So it's always kind of been a freakish thing as a child, especially to have such a powerful voice. And I had vocal instructors and I was in a lot of choirs and stuff. Cause I think I told you on our last little get together that as a child, I would literally ask Santa Claus for an agent for Christmas.
You did tell us that. That's right.
At the top of the list multiple years in a row. Because I wanted to be on TV. I wanted to do that. And singing was always something I did around my house. And I would go to vocal teachers and they would tell my mother, like, you need to keep her from singing like that. Or by the time she's 20, she will not have any vocal cords left. Like, they will be shredded. But it's just a talent. It's just, I think the formation of my lungs or some sort of kinetic connection that I do have a very good awareness of my range and how to get there. And thank you for watching me sing on YouTube.
I have to tell you that I sing for my own pleasure. And if I am too up, and I don't know the technical terms for this, if I'm too up in the throat, then of course my jaw and throat gets all tight. And then I'm kind of recovering from that. And then I make an effort. I'm like, okay, bring it down into the diaphragm, bring it lower, try and push that out. Now I'm off key. I don't have this control unless I'm practicing consistently, which I know is you use it or you lose it. You have to practice at everything that's your craft. But did you ever have to worry about that, moving that around, or did it always just come?
So I bill myself as many things in my cabaret career. One of them is like the asshole of burlesque because I smoke weed. I'm not a smoker of cigarettes, but I do smoke them when I feel like it. I'm also one of those dicks that like, I want to have a cigarette when I'm really angry, but then I will not smoke for like 3 years. I've never been addicted to them.
You've just named every one of my European friends.
Yeah, it's a thing. And like my mother,
sorry to all the mothers of my European friends listening.
Sorry, Sarah apologizes. Okay,
Yeah.
we're calling her
out.
Sarah tonight. Sarah out. Okay, but my mother was very addicted to cigarettes, and she quit when in the early mid '80s when she was having my brother and I, and she would say, like, I know for a fact, haven't had a cigarette in 30 years. When I walk by people smoking them and I smell it, I know if I had one cigarette, I would be back to 2 packs a day.
Same.
So she would always get very irritated with me that I could just be like,
I smoked too much last night, so I can't smoke for a few weeks.
As a smoker and then ex-smoker, I was always irritated with those people that buy a pack and put them in a drawer for 3
that's
months.
me.
Yeah.
Like you didn't have those before breakfast?
or like I smoked it and then I was like, yeah, I'm sick of this. I'm putting it out.
Yeah. Wild to me. I have to tell you this wonderful story. Guess what I'm going to talk about?
What is that?
Ding, my dead mother.
Yeah.
Me too.
Every show.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's happened since we
Yeah.
I have one
had you
too.
one.
You have, oh my God,
It's a
Dead
Dead
Mom
Moms
Club.
Club.
Happy New Year.
You know?
This is our New Year's episode with Sassy Ray.
Yeah.
Welcome to my life.
But it's true. So I was always kind of one of those ding dongs. And yeah, like I do notice there are certain songs that are really big vocal songs like and I am telling you, that one is huge. Takes a really big breath and it is very much at the top of my range. If I don't sing it regularly, it gets a little uncomfortable for me to get there, but I can still do it.
Okay, so you're putting in effort, but you're not missing the mark.
Yeah, I don't.
This is fascinating.
I don't warm up. I don't really practice. And so you remember a couple of years ago there was a meme going around on the internet. And I think it was about visual art and people who are artists. My sister is an artist, and that's one talent I do not have. I think we talked about this too. I can draw a cube,
but you're a creator. You make your costumes and all kinds of stuff.
But drawing like 3D cube, sun wearing sunglasses, and like a tornado scribble. That's where the talent taps out.
Yeah.
I can't draw at all. So there was this meme going around that was like,
Stop asking me how I get so lucky to be talented. Everything you see here is hard work. And if you want to be talented,
and that just doesn't apply to me. I don't deserve it. I've done nothing to deserve the voice I have. I don't take care of it. I don't practice. I don't do anything. It's just very similar to my other party trick, which is standing on my head. I've always been able to do it.
And doing the splits.
And doing the splits.
Yeah.
And shaking things from my butt and my boobs. And
This was one of my favorite parts of our show last time was and I thought about this a lot since Marshall and I have talked about it, is understanding the physics behind nipple tassels. Like that was, if you guys haven't heard it, go back and listen to our past episode with Sassy Ray about it being a shoulder movement. And you described it as the fembots.
Yep.
From Austin Powers.
Yep.
You'd think you would be trying to do this awkward swinging motion.
Yeah, people think they have to like move their whole body in a circular motion, but it's not. It's really just the forward and the motion of your chest does the rest for you.
Which is so much sexier.
It is.
Back and forth, like teasing you, like yes, no with the shoulder.
Yeah, that's right.
So français.
Same with the butt tassels, I guess.
Oh,
Yeah, the butt tassels, again, people kind of think they have to. I'm really like, if you're looking a bird's eye view at my hips, I'm just pushing them forward. I'm just going ding, 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 ding,
back and forth.
And then usually I can feel if they're going.
I think not understanding how that works is why I can't dance. Like I dance like Elaine Bennis from Seinfeld.
Yep.
I do. I'm a terrible dancer. Because I've been called out on it, I don't dance often. So I don't just enjoy that free movement and let it. And when I do, I feel like such a loser.
You know.
Yeah, nobody cares, Sarah.
Nobody cares.
No, I know, but it's just You know, you have friends that like can
It's a-
freaking
yeah.
bust a move.
Yep.
That ain't me.
And you know what? I've taught dance for many moons to all ages, children and adults. And it's the same for everybody. When you are held back by those thoughts, you feel embarrassed before you even start to do it. And
Yeah.
that thought that, you know, oh, people are going to make fun of me. And I would say this to my students all the time, like, baby, you're not that important.
Oh, that's such a good reminder sometimes.
Like no one
you know,
cares.
no
No
I
one
tell my
gives a
kids
No one's
shit.
thinking about you.
Nobody's
Yeah.
thinking about you. And you know, we all go through times in our life, especially like growing up, when you're very self-conscious or you feel, you know, all eyes are on you because you're really focused on something. But it sounds very harsh, but it's a liberating thing to realize that like nobody knows who you are. And
I
no
tell
one's
my
paying
kids
attention.
this all the time. I tell them like nobody cares. They're so caught up in their own stuff,
Yeah,
their
they
own
don't give a
shit.
shit.
They're not watching you at all.
No, but I think not more than that, but adjacent to that, your own prison of I'm gonna look dumb, I don't look sexy, I can't do this, everyone else is a good dancer besides me. It keeps you from allowing yourself to try. And I say to students all the time, like, you know, when you're a little kid and you're learning how to do something, you start in the beginner class and you stay there for a few years, and that's normal to you because you're a kid and that's something you do all the time. But I think as adults, especially when it comes to hobbies and stuff like that, like I also have taught vocal lessons many, many times. And it's the same thing. Like people get very discouraged when they do not have immediate results. And as a overachieving child who turned into a pretty okay adult. I almost said mediocre, but no, not mediocre, not mediocre. But, you know, someone as a kid where that was how I knew I was valuable. If I was really good at something off the jump, if I wasn't, I had absolutely no interest in doing it at all. And I think as an adult, that's so shitty to do to yourself. You don't need to know how to do something immediately. And that doesn't mean that you'll ever know how to do it. You might always suck at it. But I think we've trained ourselves so much that like, if this doesn't come naturally to me, or I feel like I'm not keeping up with other people, this isn't for me and I just can't do it. It's just not for me. Which is just, it's not true. You just gotta get loosey-goosey. Get some more of that wine in you there, Sarah.
I think if Linda Belcher was a real person, or if you were a cartoon character,
Yeah.
you would get along incredibly well. I think Linda's open to all those things.
100%.
Yeah.
That's what she would tell you.
I think-
Listen, honey, you're walking into the place, you're already self-defeating, okay? Because that's not helping anybody. We want to see you have fun. There she is. She's dancing. All right.
and
All right. Our seizure lights. Woo-hoo.
I was gonna ask you. I was like, no, she'll tell us.
No, I would let you know. I enjoy it. This
Update is some of our lights have fallen down
Yeah.
in our beautiful New Year's Eve.
Yes, it's like a gay
that-
bar in here. My home planet.
that Marshall has set up for us here tonight.
So cute. We've
yeah,
got
just
balloons.
Yeah.
We've got wine. We've got lights. We got streamers.
yes.
It's like a freaking New Year's party in here.
yeah. Sarah's pouring a big glass of red wine.
But it does sound a little bit like a tinkle.
Yes.
Girl, a little bit of a tinkle.
Just a light
Tinkle bells.
tinkle bell.
We just learned that Silver Bells originally was Tinkle Bells.
It was Tinkle Bell.
But Ray Evans, the composer, went home and his wife was like, "That means pee."
That means pee, stupid.
That means pee.
Could we ask you to sing Tinkle Bells?
Tinkle bells, ding, ding, ding. Tinkle bells, it's pee-pee time in the city.
Awesome.
It usually is.
Thursday. Try the veal.
So your ability to capture Linda Belcher so well, that comes from skills of observation, right?
Yes.
And what I'm talking about here is if you watch something like Bob's Burgers, there's a very subtle, there's little sounds happening sometimes. Like Linda, just like this kind of thing,
yeah.
right? Or if
Yep.
if Tina gets, Tina's uncomfortable with a lie, right? Yeah, right? And just, or Teddy sometimes mumbles something that nobody else heard except the audience. Like I remember he learned that Wi-Fi is he pronounced it Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi.
And then you hear, the conversation goes on, you hear him go, I'm going to keep calling it Wi-Fi in my head, right?
just under his breath.
Yeah.
Bob does that a lot too. Like, no.
Right, yeah.
No, we're not.
Oh my gosh.
And I want Jimmy Jr. to be there. Mm-mm. And I want him to kiss me. No. And it's going to happen on the dance floor. No, it's too expensive. No.
But yes, observation. I don't know. I think anybody who's really good at comedy or is funny is somebody who you are observing, and it's commentary on what is, it's kind of like an inside joke we all already share. Someone just needs to kind of point it out. Like, I do know somebody who mumbles to himself. I'm calling it Murphy.
I've thought of mumbling, but I didn't do it.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll just let it out now.
Maybe I should start mumbling.
There's a beautiful episode recently where Teddy. So this episode really resonated with me. There's lots of older men in my life who kind of trap me. They corner me.
Yes,
And-
with their stories.
Yeah, and there's no equity in the conversation. They're like, oh, there's Marshall, right?
Yeah.
And I've got something to tell them, right? And they're not interested if they're picking up my body language, that I don't have the time and I'm not interested in this.
No.
And they don't care, right?
No, this is about them.
Yeah, so I'm
Even if you say, hey, I gotta go.
yeah, I've said, hey, I got to go.
Keep going.
They keep going, right? And
So anyways, back to me.
yeah, exactly. So
It's not about me and how awesome I am.
So when Teddy's telling a story that Bob's just not interested in, that really speaks to me. But there's a really beautiful episode recently, just maybe 2 weeks ago or something, where Bob goes on a road trip with Teddy to deliver some stuff and pick something up. And Bob is kind of considering a bit of a sympathy. Like Linda kind of says, go along with Teddy.
Yeah. Go on. He likes you.
Yeah, he wants the company,
just
right?
wants to spend time with you.
But for Bob, it's an endurance test.
Yes.
Again, so everything about this episode I'm relating to perfectly, right? And the stuff Teddy's bringing up is just hilarious, right? But in the end, there's this beautiful kind of moment where Bob realizes that Teddy knows a lot of people.
Yeah.
And not only is Teddy getting a lot of good energy from knowing these people and having these little chatty conversations, but the people really like Teddy.
They love him.
Yeah, and they're getting something from it too. And that Bob, being more the introvert that he is, Bob has this moment of self-realization that he's kind of like,
Yeah.
I should value Teddy.
Maybe I'm being a shit.
Yeah.
And Teddy's a really sweet man who focuses his attention on me for God only knows why. 'Cause I'm not very nice to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
I love that
pretty
episode
powerful when a half-hour cartoon can leave me thinking about that for weeks afterwards.
100%.
Yeah. Pretty awesome, eh?
I love that. Yeah. My father is not to the level of Teddy, but he is a storyteller, and he loves nothing more than to. My brother and I have the same trait. We'll tell the same stories to people, to the point where I have to say to my friends and loved ones, like, please just stop me if I've told you this story before, because parrot, I will repeat it word for word, perform it the same way I tell it to everyone. Like
it's the first time.
Yeah. And like I'm reading it from a script. Yep. And that's a little disturbing to some people, I think. They're like, this has happened before. This has happened before.
We've been here.
And as a kid, when you're growing up, like it can be annoying, like, Dad. But then as an adult, when my mom passed away, my dad's phone rang for like a month non-stop because he has real connections with everybody he knows. He has inside jokes with them. He has stories with them. He's the guy who, he talks to every single person my brother and I were friends with in high school. My friend Meg used to work at Home Depot, and this like 20 years ago, he still calls her Tool Time. What's going on, Tool Time? Tool Time, Meg. All right. And like, I think as you get older, you just kind of realize that, like, why am I so irate all the time? I think through the pandemic too, that's something that I've kind of made peace with, that like, maybe people are just lonely and nice, and maybe you could just not be a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Try that out for size.
Yeah.
That was it's a hard one for me. I was a piece of shit for a long time. just easily, like, I don't have time for this. Like, well, what else are you doing? What are you doing? You don't have time? You sure?
It's definitely a time to hit pause. Marshall talks about this a lot, and
To get more wine?
it is time. Yeah. Everybody fill up your glasses. How's your cube level, Sassy?
My cubes are doing great.
Okay.
I'm just about to pour a little more Kim Crawford Sauvignon Blanc into my very bougie plastic cup. But it's COVID.
They're a little bougie. They're kind
gorge.
of
I love.
Christmas,
I live.
Sorry, with peanuts. Charlie Brown Christmas.
Yes.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Did you have that feeling?
Yes, I sure did. Yeah, Charlie Brown.
What's wrong with us?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Oh, this is interesting.
Voice of an angel.
Christmas was a week ago.
Marsh
This is
the
going to be a
Darsh.
fun one for me to edit.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to ask
love
if
it.
your dad is more of the performer in the family then. Is he the one who gets the friends? Is he the social butterfly? Is he a parrot?
Yeah, my dad definitely is a very social man. He loves to drink beer. He loves to golf. He was a salesman in the 80s.
Is your dad my husband?
I saw him go in the basement.
He's to make his
And
beer.
He went to make his beer, which my dad doesn't do anymore, but he did do. Can confirm, not the same person.
Okay, just wanted to check.
We'll do a double check when he comes back up. I'm sure he will. Yeah, my dad is just a very schmoozy, friendly dude. And yeah, as a kid, like it didn't irritate me, but sometimes I'd be like, okay, Dad, stop, like my friends, blah, blah. But now as an adult, it's just very sweet. It's just very nice that, like, you know, he's always been someone who had a few minutes to talk to somebody and he remembers the things that they say and he asks about their families and like, we'll go to like fucking Filthy McNasty's or like some, I don't think that exists anymore, but some chain like that. And like
Large place.
everybody fucking knows him. Like, like it's Cheers. Like, Dennis, yeah. And he's like, yeah, that's Brienne. She had a kid 3 years ago. I think he has autism, but he's, you know, he's doing well. Like,
Like, Dad, what is this life you're leading?
Wow. So you got a really rich social life. All right.
Do you know, I remember hearing Kristen Bell on Dax Shepard's podcast, Armchair Expert, talk about being that she's a parrot. And ruins movies for the two of them because she recites every line after, like, under her breath with her hand over
Yep,
her mouth
that's
after
me.
it's said. So you do this?
It's a compulsion.
She says it's
for
a
me.
tick.
Yeah, it is.
She
It's
can't turn it
absolutely a
off.
tick. I am a person where if I'm around someone who has an accent, I will consciously make an effort not to do the accent, but I will
Otherwise,
start.
you're all in?
Yes, I will start to do like the cadence of their voice.
Sassy Ray, how did you end up in at our New Year's party tonight?
An Uber.
How was your Christmas holidays?
My Christmas was so good. I love Christmas. I'm
Me
a
too.
Christmas girl. I believed in Santa until I was probably at 14.
Well, as you should, because Santa is real.
Well, Santa is real. And my mother used to say to me,
Yeah.
is it fun to believe in Santa? Like, yeah. It's like, okay. Then he's real.
Yeah.
Like, you're right. But my sister is almost 10 years younger than me. So we got to do the full Santa for her, like well into my teenage years, which was very fun.
This is an opposite of what Marshall usually says. Usually he says that the younger children grow up in the older child's world. In this case, role reversal.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. And my God, like my parents went bananas with the Santa shit. Like we would leave carrots out for the reindeer. They would bite them and like leave hoof prints. Yeah, it's so much fun, you know? And I remember when I was probably about, I think I was about 10 because my sister was around. She was a baby. And I was not a kid who liked, I don't want the surprise ruined. I do not want to know what I'm getting for Christmas. I never understood kids who looked for their presents. Like, Jessica, you're ruining it. What are you doing? But I would sometimes accidentally come upon them. And so I remember one Christmas, we had a Ford or a caravan, whoever makes caravans with the wood paneling on the side.
Toyota?
Dodge Caravan.
Dodge.
You know.
Thank you.
I know a lot about cars. I know they can. As you can see, clearly. Big gearhead over here. But I remember it was Christmas and I went into the back of the van for something and I saw the Toys R Us bags and I saw the Ski Chalet Barbie and the Ski Chalet Barbie horse and all of the things that I had asked for Christmas. So I was very excited. I was sad that I found it, but I was a good little girl. I didn't tell anybody. And then Christmas morning came around and who were those presents from but Santa Claus? So I had to have a conversation with my mother.
And you're how
candidly.
old here?
I was 10.
Okay.
And I was putting it together. I'm like, wait a goddamn second. Santa, these... Mom, can I talk to you privately in the living room, please? So she's like, what's going on, hon? What's wrong? It's like, I'm just going to tell you that I accidentally saw my Barbie stuff in the van before Christmas, and then I opened them today, and then they were from Santa. And is Santa real? Please say Santa's real. Right? And so my mother, bless her fucking soul, without missing a beat, she was like, Elizabeth, don't be silly. Santa can't make Barbie. We buy Barbie, and he wraps it here. I'm like, oh my God. Okay. For a second there, I thought Santa wasn't real. Okay. Thank you for clearing that up. Yeah. And she saved the day for another like 4 years. I was like, he's actually real.
I love your mom.
Yeah, it was.
And
she,
so awesome.
She delivered it with such like, don't be stupid. Oh my God, you're worried about that? No. It's like okay.
You're wasting my time with this on Christmas morning.
Like, Elizabeth, don't be silly.
Santa doesn't make Barbie. Do you think Santa has a factory to make Barbie? No.
Yeah, she knew how to save it, and she did. She preserved my Santa for probably a little too long, but that's fine.
Okay.
I still believe in Santa. I love Christmas. I have 2 Christmas trees in my apartment for one.
Good.
I have my like Martha Stewart white and black buffalo check, very Pinterest looking living room, and then in my bedroom beside my bed I have
the real deal,
a pink and white tree that's covered in Barbie and feathers.
Wonderful.
And, yeah, I love it. I love
I believe in the magic of Christmas.
Absolutely.
I truly do. Yeah,
I do too.
there's moments in
Yeah.
Christmas.
Keep
that
Christmas
just-
with you all through the year. That's the Sesame Street song.
Yep.
Where are you, Christmas? Why can't I find you? And then you fix it in post there.
Fix
She
it in
knows how to
post.
do it. She's the editor. She knows how to get
All
it
right,
done.
this is what I want to say.
Okay.
All right, here we are sitting on New Year's Eve.
New Year's Eve.
Sarah and I have an online calendar for Bonn Park, our podcast.
Yes.
And we've had a really great year.
Yeah.
And I like to, unlike my flip calendar in my home, I don't go back and look at what happened back in March.
Right.
I just go forward, right? But there's many reasons for business reasons why I look back at what was happening. So I'll see, look at January and look at March and there's a lot of information there for me to digest. And it's and with it also comes really good feelings about growth and how well we're doing and that. Awesome. Do you ever, in a certain way, I'm actually kind of always scared of the year ahead. When I buy a calendar for the year ahead, I always think, I wonder what's coming, right? Yeah.
I just put some people in our Google Calendar for next year, and I thought, I hope this doesn't upset Marshall.
No, it doesn't at all.
Okay.
No, but I rarely ever look too far ahead,
Yeah.
but I have enjoyed looking back.
Okay.
And do you ever, at this time of year, on New Year's Eve, do you ever kind of really reflect back on, I'm talking about the calendar and the life you've lived and the things you've done and maybe loss and things like that. Do you ever look back on a year and go, oh, I see, it's how this whole year played out?
Yeah, the older I get, the more that resonates with me. And, 2021 for me, I lost my cat and I lost my mom.
In a short space.
In like 9 days.
Yeah.
It was very, very, I shouldn't say sudden, as my mother did have cancer. So it wasn't totally out of nowhere, but she was doing well. And then all of a sudden she was not. So it was a little sudden that way. But even outside of bad things, I do like to, I'm not really one for resolutions. I just change things when I want. I don't need to wait for a date to decide like, this is the day I'm not doing this anymore. I've never really been like that. But yeah, absolutely. Especially through the pandemic, and losing, for a time, a lot of stuff, not just income, but community and kind of my place in a leadership role, kind of turned me for a while into a normie. Like the only thing I did was my daytime accounting job, which like I only really learned how to do so I could fund my weird artist life and have access to EI if I got laid off, basically. So yeah, I think it's valuable to kind of take stock. And for me, I think I spent a lot of time as a younger person feeling like a loser. Like I dropped out of high school. I thought with certainty when I was a teenager that I would be like a Jewel or a Michelle Branch and like, I don't have to go to fucking school. I'm gonna be fucking famous, you know, and that didn't really pan out for me in the way that I wanted it to. But you know, like there are some things that I've lost, but like even just to take stock of the last couple of years of my life, the stuff I've been able to do. I remember once I was on a boat in the Toronto Harbor. It's like one of those booze cruise boats. And I'm floating past the CN Tower, like singing at the top of my lungs and stripping out of this beautiful gown to 200 people. I'm making money. I'm like, what a cool thing I'm doing right now. Like, this is pretty fucking cool. Like, this is what I get to do. And, you know, like, obviously it makes sense for people and humans in general. Like, this unit of time has passed and now we're at the end. So let's look at what's happened in the unit of time. But I like to kind of do that all the time. Like, when I'm doing cool stuff or even when I'm feeling sad, kind of just remembering that I'm a really privileged person. I have a lot of really cool stuff that most people would never ever even dream of doing. So 2021 had some she had some tough spots. But there's lots of good in there too.
We're going to take a moment to hear from this episode's sponsors. We are supported by Gina's Spa. This winter, Gina's Spa invites you to rejuvenate and relax. Serving Waterloo Region for over 50 years, Gina's Spa provides a full range of beauty, relaxation, and medi-spa services. Currently Kitchener-Waterloo's top award-winning spa, Gina's state-of-the-art facility provides hospital-level cleanliness. They offer the most advanced spa treatments and products for effective medical-grade results. Gina's incorporates modern advancements with traditional holistic approaches to merge beauty and wellness. In their bright, spacious hair salon, Gina's technical experts will help you achieve your hair goals while prioritizing your hair's health. Their hair designers' enthusiastic pursuit of the latest techniques and use of revolutionary products translates into personalized, fashionable hairstyles that will leave you feeling your most confident. Gina's Spa is a sanctuary conveniently located in the center of Uptown Waterloo at 6 Regina Street North. You can book an appointment online at ginaspa.com or call 519-886-2090. You deserve to look and feel your best. Trust Gina's. We are supported by The Wine Cellar. Serving Waterloo Region and beyond for a quarter century, The Wine Cellar, a craft winemaking shop, makes wine for every taste. Customers come from across Ontario for their Hungarian oak barrel aged wines, from the California Cabernet Sauvignon to an Italian Amarone, and everything in between. Whether you're planning a quiet evening for two or a wedding, The Wine Cellar will provide a perfect pairing for any occasion. The Wine Cellar shop at 300 Gage Avenue in Kitchener, an essential service, has always been a clean and sterile environment, and now the staff are taking even greater precautions to ensure the safety of all. Check them out in person or at winecellarkw.com. Life is too short to drink bad wine. We are supported by Ennio's Pasta House. Ennio's has been providing Waterloo Region with the wonders of home-style Italian cooking since 1994. Ennio Renan, a local entrepreneur with a passion for cooking, grew up in northern Italy and arrived in Canada with a dream to open a restaurant. He had 2 pots, 2 pans, a strainer, and a stove. There are so many flavors to explore at Ennio's, from classic spaghetti and meatballs to Annabella sliced roasted chicken and sweet sun-dried tomatoes tossed in a creamy pesto Alfredo sauce with penne. Have we got your attention? If what you just heard sounds irresistible, check out Ennio's online at enniospasta.ca or order via Uber Eats and skip the dishes. Ennio's is located at 665 Fairway Road South in Kitchener and 384 King Street North in Waterloo. Buen appetito! We are supported by Good Boys Duct Cleaning. Are you moving? Renovating? Do you have a new baby on the way or perhaps guests? Are you sneezing more than usual? Call the Good Boys. Locally owned and operated, they do residential duct cleaning as well as commercial and industrial, and they do it well. And get this, they never solicit by phone. That's not Good Boys calling you during dinner. Their cleaning technology rids your ducts of dirt and dust, allowing you and your family to breathe easy.
We hired Good Boys to clean the ducts of my family's home, and we all feel like the air is cleaner. Professional, friendly, affordable, and they answered all our questions. I would recommend them to anybody.
Check them out at goodboyservices.ca or call 519-893-0046 today to get your fresh start. We are supported by Mountain Oak Cheese. An artisanal family-owned cheesemaker in New Hamburg, Mountain Oak Cheese was founded by Adam van Bergijk and his wife Hanny, who took over the family dairy farm in Holland from Adam's parents in 1976. Quality is their primary concern, as they have stayed true to their roots using only the best ingredients and being involved in the entire cheesemaking process from beginning to end. Their award-winning 2-year-old Farmstead Gouda is similar in texture to a Parmesan and bursts with flavor. Both the 2-year and the Wild Nettle took home first prize at the Royal Winter Fair this year, and their Applewood smoked Gouda, smoked in-house, is sublime. Made with traditional Dutch recipes, Mountain Oak cheeses are the culmination of 300 years of cheese-making tradition, and you can taste it. You may never want big brand name supermarket cheese ever again. Visit Mountain Oak's store at 3165 Huron Road, New Hamburg, and find them online at mountainoakcheese.ca. Your taste buds will appreciate it immensely. We are supported by Soy Sauce. Soy Sauce is a Canadian hot sauce, so Twitch and Kitchen magician Eric Begg includes a free apology in every bottle. Award-winning farm-to-table hot sauce made with all-natural ingredients and homegrown peppers from his garden of apologies. From mild jalapeno sauce to the hottest all-natural sauce in Canada, Soy Sauce has something for every heat level or food pairing. And Eric has a short attention span, so there's always a new recipe in the works. Like Curry Curry Hard, winner of the 2021 Canadian Hot Sauce Award for Best New Product. If you're a lover of all things spicy, you'll be sorry if you don't try this stuff. Come visit Soy Sauce on Saturdays at the Guelph Farmers Market and check out their whole fiery line at soysauce.ca. And now back to the show. And you're back to performing.
Back to performing. It's been a little bit of an adjustment.
Mm-hmm.
We're still kind of in this gray area where, yeah, you know,
Marshall's filling his glass.
Marshall's doing a tinkle
Or he's taking
bells.
Tinkle bells.
Tinkle bells.
Oh my God, did we just jam?
Did you hear the harmony between you and me?
Harmonized.
That was pretty good.
Like, I don't want to brag, but I have a pretty good voice.
It's pretty beautiful. And I just got right in there.
Serenade in the city.
Yeah.
Ding dong dong, getting fine. It's okay. So you gotta go where you go. All right,
Yeah.
everybody. You know. Oh
So
yeah,
what's
gosh,
changed,
performing. Oh,
what's
fuck.
changed with performing?
So I will say a positive change has definitely been that the audiences have been so fucking bored for almost 2 years.
It doesn't take much to get them
It does
titillated.
not take a whole lot. And I'll tell you, as a burlesque performer, there are certain things that I know are crowd pleasers.
Mm-hmm.
Tassel twirling is obviously one of them. Balloon pop numbers. Everybody loves like Simpsons, Mrs. Krabappel at the, you know, yeah, exactly. Yeah. At the, what do they call it? What was the name of the, I had a show named Backdoor Burlesque.
Yep.
Maison Derriere.
Oh, yes.
Maison Derriere.
Yeah. So the Maison
A
Derriere.
highlight of the entire Simpsons franchise.
Yes. Yeah.
Our skimpy costumes ain't so bad. They seem to entertain you, Dad.
Yeah.
I had forgotten about that.
Yeah, Maison Derriere.
Yeah, that's like the musical episode, right?
Yes,
Like,
one
yeah.
of the many.
Yeah.
And I actually had a show that I called Backdoor Burlesque for a long time because of Maison Derriere, because I love The Simpsons. But there are, you know, balloon pops, fan dances. There are things that in the past I would kind of reserve for audiences that I knew had never seen burlesque before, because they're kind of like, ooh, with balloons and feathers, you know. And then there were other audiences where I knew that, like,
We got to take this to the next level.
yeah, they're gonna like enjoy it, but they're not gonna be like, blah, 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 right? Right now, like, I literally did a show at Sugar Run a couple weekends ago, and I just sang a bunch of like TV intros. I did, I think I did Golden Girls, Pokemon. Standing ovation. Like, okay.
Did we need a reset? Do you think?
We absolutely did. And
Yeah.
you know what? I think anybody in live entertainment or the entertainment and nightlife industry, for a very long time,
the work that I did, like I would constantly get people asking me, are you available? I'd love to book you for this or that. And then I would tell them what my rate is and they would ghost me. Like, do you think I do this like out of the kindness of my heart
We
as a
talk
hobby?
about this all the time. You're an artist. And
I'm
you're
an artist.
And right now, people are dying for your art.
Well,
so you can pay for it.
You can pay for it. And what would we have done from March 2020 until present if we did not have set designers, if we did not have musicians, if we did not have actors, voice actors, gaffers, best boys, all of these people, you know, this work that because you don't see it as valuable because of capitalism, you don't, you know, you absolutely balk at the idea of paying me $500 to come entertain your entire bar for 3 hours. That's a steal. That's a steal, babe.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah. So yeah, I think 100%, you know, when I first started doing the shows at Sugar Run, my tagline or like something I'd say on the mic all the time is like, it's the finest burlesque $10 can buy because the door price was so low.
Yeah.
But back then we could slam it full of people. So if they can get 100 people in there, you know, it's $1,000. That covers my fee. That's fantastic. But then we had the restrictions and we had the capacity limits and we had all this other stuff. So I think now people have been so bored, and I think maybe part of it is that people haven't really had a whole lot to spend their money on in a while.
100%. You know, and I know that a lot of people were out of work, and that I'm not speaking for everyone here, but people were dying to spend their money on stuff over the last couple of years.
I think so too.
And I will speak to your point about people being so much, being more receptive to entertainment at this point. Anything that happens now that I'm witnessing, I'm like, look, activity.
A thing to do with pants on.
Or not.
Or not.
I mean,
I don't wear pants when I do my things, but
But I mean, you know, it's up to the activity and the participants, I suppose. But I am in that zone where I am not easily entertained, but receptive to anything that might come my way.
yeah. And you know, when I've done the shows that I've done so far, and I've got a bunch coming up, and we did a bunch in December, at Port Dover and a bunch in Guelph and all over the place, these little spots. I do a lot of cabarets with drag artists and stuff like that. I'm on the microphone and I will say to people, you know, we encourage you to tip us. I realize you did have to pay a ticket price to come in tonight, but we as an industry have struggled so hard. And I'm very lucky. I have a normie job. I have a job that was not affected by the pandemic. I was able to work from home. I still work from home. But a lot of the people that I know and I love and I work very closely with, this is what they do. And to go from having a sustainable way to live that you've become accustomed to and comfortable with to there's nothing, you know, it's crazy. It's scary. I had a lot of friends who were living in Toronto, and the reason they lived in Toronto is because that's where all the gigs were. Burlesque dancers and drag artists and DJs and nightlife people. To go all of a sudden overnight to not only is there no work, but like, we can't really tell you if you'll ever work again. You know, how do you pivot? The answer is universal basic income. If you ask socialist Sassy Ray, but, you know, I think we're at a point now where like the whole purpose of technology and innovation is to free humans from being the ones in charge of doing these tasks that, you know, we can automate. And when we get to that point, we need to redistribute the wealth, friends. And when I say that on the microphone, there are some times where I'm, you know, I have a lot of very, very left-leaning political views. And for the most part, people who come to see an old-timey strip show are pretty left-leaning themselves. But I always have that little, you know, bit of trepidation that like, am I going to say something that's going to get somebody real riled and I'm going to have a heckler? I'm great at handling hecklers.
Oh, yeah.
As I'm sure no one here is surprised. But, you know, they've been so receptive. We do a thing at Sugar and at the end where I get my stage kit to pass a tip bucket around. And I'll say, you know, you paid to get in. It's totally cool if you don't want to contribute. I will get off the microphone and pass by a table and they'll grab me and say like, please let us give you money. Please let us just get, they'll put $200 in my hand. Like it's fabulous. So thanks, Kitchener-Waterloo, for being super cool.
What is after a performance? What does the hour after that feel like and look like for you? Maybe or hours, maybe. Like first of all, you have to come down from that, and what does that feel like?
Yeah, the shows that I produce, I host them. So typically, I'm more than half the show. I'm doing stand up. I'm interacting with the crowd. I usually sing 4 or 5 songs, and I'll dance once. So it's a lot for me, but it's what I'm born to do. It's what I love to do. So it really isn't something where I end feeling like depleted. I'm high from it. The couple of hours after the show is usually me squatting in a thong, counting money and putting it into envelopes for my performers. But for me, and I know that unfortunately, in my opinion, I'm in the minority in the burlesque world of this, I find it very valuable to put on a little cocktail dress and go and talk to every single person in that room. Thank you for coming to my show. Would you come to a show again? I would love to see you again.
What it's all about.
That's what it's all about. It's connecting and it's networking and it's all that stuff. And I want people to remember me. I know they'll remember me because I'm funny and I've got a nice voice and I'm a pretty okay looking gal. If I do so myself. And I think
Except
for a lot
those
of
mechanic hands.
right?
Yeah.
Did anybody notice my nail?
I did notice as soon as you came in. It was like, wow. Yeah.
Everyone who's seen them is like, they're so long. Like,
They're shorter than Billie Eilish's nails.
Well, these are short for me.
Yeah. They look lovely.
You know,
And you have the
thank you
skin
so
of a
much.
10-year-old girl for some reason.
Oh, thank you so much. It's the oil. It's the oiliness.
Is it from the nasolabial fold?
It's from the nasolabial folds, okay? These are called sebaceous filaments.
Right here?
Right. So when you look at your nose,
Yeah.
anything you see plugging up your nose, usually not a blackhead unless it's very dark and hard to extract. If they are just little spots and you press your nose and little white squigglies come out, those are called sebaceous filaments. Those are supposed to be there. You want to think of your face and all of the pores and all of the little plugs of sebum that are in there as self-lubricating objects.
like the vagina.
Exactly like that.
Everyone wants
honey.
to clean it.
Don't
Leave it
clean
alone.
it. Girl. Oh my fucking word. So another hobby of mine is shitting on pseudoscience. It's something I have spent a little too much time on the internet doing.
I love this.
But listen, okay, garlic in your vagina is a bad move. Okay. And I know that, listen, maybe someone has done it and it has worked for them, and that's great. Garlic can give you a chemical burn. Raw garlic can really fuck you up. Please don't put condiments inside of your vaginal canal. Okay, we have medicines. This just drives me crazy. I won't go on a tangent. I'll keep this contained to this moment here. But this is what I love. You want to romanticize a time before modern medicine where people were out in the woods foraging berries and leaves because they didn't know what fucking worked.
Yeah.
They had children at home who, like, a very high percentage of them would die before they reached age 5. So you had desperate mothers roaming the forest, picking weeds and anything that they think could maybe save their kids. Okay, so great example. Acetylsalicylic acid, otherwise known as aspirin, comes from the bark of a tree. How did we find that? Through desperate parents running through the forest at night, trying to find anything that would keep their kid from dying. Well, now we have the technology to synthesize that. We can make that same compound. We know the mechanics of how that works. It's the same thing with like oil of oregano. My dude. Okay, you're swallowing it. Do you know that there are 2 pipes in your throat? There's a trachea and an esophagus, right? The breathing tube is the one that has the cough, not the one that you swallow down, okay?
Breathing.
So you're going to smell like pizza and it's going to taste like shit, and some shithead is going to charge you $40 plus shipping and include a piece of rose quartz because it's been charged by the moon. Have you ever been to a parking lot? Do you know what that gravel's made out of? It's fucking rose quartz, guys. Okay?
Okay, wait, Sassy, did you drop out of high school because you were bored as fuck?
100%.
Yeah.
So yes, when I was in high school, when I was a little kid, I was always in enrichment. Back in the 90s, that was a thing that we did.
Yep.
I actually used to go to a different school for 2 weeks.
They come pick you up in the bus and
That's right. I went to Macquarie. So I would be at Macquarie and I would eat my little hot dogs for lunch, and I would be so stimulated and so into everything I was doing, and I was a high performer. As soon as I got pulled out of that environment, I couldn't pay attention. I have attention deficit disorder as a woman as well, so, which was not diagnosed as a child. So I was the kid who would score 110% on every test, but I could not bring a permission slip back. It would go home in my bag. It would get crushed and dirty and probably rot under the sandwich that I also forgot was in my backpack.
Can we also come up with a new name for attention deficit disorder?
Yeah, because it's really not a deficit. It's too much.
Attention disbursement talent?
Absolutely. I think especially for females or femme identifying people, the symptoms that people look for really present in males. They look for hyperactivity, almost oppositional defiance disorder symptoms. For girls, it's very different. And for me, it was exactly that. And I'm still the same way as an adult. I have hyper-focused interests. I can tell if I'm interested in something, I will research it, not because I want to be a know-it-all, because I'm fascinated.
Yeah.
And I need to know everything about this particular, the Marianas Trench. I was obsessed with it as a child. Know everything about it. Just not stupid, but obscure things that, maybe not every 12-year-old really needs to know about hypothermia and why it happens and all of the physical mechanisms of what's going on there. But as an adult, finally being diagnosed with that and looking back and thinking like, holy shit, that's what happened. I just didn't have the attention span to be
do basic school.
To be learning about the Constitution for 6 months. I don't fucking care. I don't care. I want to know about ancient Egypt. I want to know about the Renaissance. I want to know, I want to know about things that interest me. I want to know about how cars work. I want to know about how people, why does your nose run? I want to know about that stuff. And that's, something that my parents were always really great at, my mother especially. You need to ask yourself, how does that work? If someone says to you, hey, take this oil of oregano and it will make your influenza go away. How? Becky? How? Brenda? My mom was a big champion of that, so that's carried on my legacy to her. I remember once being a kid, and do you remember they used to do those like Ionic foot baths? Yeah. So really what's happening is they're running a current through the water. They're putting salt and minerals into it, and it's oxidizing in the water, and it's floating to the top, and it's tricking you into thinking that somehow this foot bath is
everything you've done wrong in life is coming out of your toes.
Is coming out of your feet. Okay, that's stupid. We know that's stupid and makes no sense. But my mother at Conestoga Mall in the 90s, they used to have the tinkle bells, tinkle bells. I love that she comes in with
Tinkle bells.
tinkle bells.
It's pee-pee time in the city.
We just became a band. I hope you know that. And our band is named the Bonn Park 3.
Yep.
Bonn Park 3.
And I'm obviously the lead singer. So.
We understand that and we respect it with full emotion.
But yes, my mom would go to these kiosks and she would say to them like, listen, I'll pay for a foot bath. I'll give you the $20, but I want you to run it and I'm not putting my feet in it. Let's see what happens. And they're like, well, you can't do that because it's for toxins in your liver. She's like, no, it's fine. I'm going to pay full price for it. Turn that bath on. Let's see what happens. Well, wouldn't you know, did that water turn brown? It's because it's oxidizing the minerals in the water. But people are, they don't, I take such issue. This goes to oil of oregano or anything I've said about pseudoscience. I know the placebo is real.
Yes, it is.
I know that helps some people. I think especially in North America, if we are even slightly uncomfortable, that is a medical emergency to us. And there are some people who, you're not very active, so you might kind of have some body aches here and there. Or maybe you have some acid reflux or there's something going on there that isn't really solvable by Western medicine. I think there's a place for that. I hate people preying on suffering people, coming to people with coupons that if you buy these ion foot baths and you're going through chemotherapy, we'll give you 20% off. Get fucked. You're not doing anything. You're stealing from people who have cancer. Go fuck yourself. Get fucked. Pardon my français. You know, it makes me crazy, and it's the same thing with the oils. It's the same thing with all this shit. You know?
Or the kiosks in the mall.
Yes.
That like point out that you have some darkness under your eyes. And
I was born with the darkness under my eyes.
We can fix that. Come over here and I'll help you. Like could you imagine walking through a mall, a hardworking mom, and having somebody say, "Hi, come here. I just want to ask you a question."
I just noticed that you look like shit. Do you have a second?
You have a second for me to
Just
give you
a real
something that
quick
isn't going to work?
second. I actually just noticed that your hands are looking super haggard.
Yeah.
Are you okay?
Yeah,
I have a cream for that. It's $50. I'll give you 20% off if you buy it right now.
Yeah.
You old disgusting toad.
Can you bear with me on this thought here? I don't want to offend anybody, but I think the same applies to designer clothing.
100%.
I think that rich people don't buy it. Rich people get it for free. And designer clothing is sold to those who can afford it to attain that type of lifestyle.
That's right.
And I find it disturbing.
Yeah, it's very disturbing. The whole structure of all of that shit is disturbing. If you look on Instagram at all of these influencers, like, well, yeah, they're going to tell you that product's amazing because they got it for free and they have a checkout code, you dipshit. Of course they're going to tell you it's great.
Or they're flat out being paid for the post.
Or they're 100%. It's a paid promotion. You know, it's the same with like the flat tummy tea.
Oh, don't even.
It's actually weight loss and I'm just feeling so amazing because I've been drinking this tea every morning. And bitch, you have a plastic surgeon. The answer actually is that you're incredibly wealthy and any problem you have, money will solve it. But you know, you have to sell it to the plebs to make them think that it's the fucking plebs. That's a Northern Irish.
I haven't heard that in a long time.
You fucking balloon head.
Oh my God. I forgot what I was going to say because that really, it really brought back some memories.
Yeah, they sell it to
And
the
there's
plebs.
this. Cheers.
Well, also the wines. Clinkle dinkles.
The wine is Tinkle Bells.
Tinkle bells. It's pee-pee time in the city. We harmonized, Sarah.
Not too bad. Not too bad.
We almost did.
I have to take the main because
Wow.
I'm not good at the...
Really nice voice.
Thanks.
Marsha, was that your own
Thanks,
glass or were you
Marshy.
taking a leak?
Don't worry about it.
Wait, can we make
I just
this?
not worry about it.
Yeah.
Can we make this a tradition on our podcast?
Yes.
Fish gotta swim.
Birds gotta fly.
I gotta love one man till I die.
Can't help loving that man of mine. That's right. Sometimes a male voice, a lounge singer, likes to appear. I like to call him Lair, short for
This
Larry.
is a moment where I wish
Interesting.
so many of my friends could see me. Like how lucky am I? I have so many moments in my life where I think to myself, and
God damn it.
And Sarah knows I've had moments in my life where I thought to myself, "How is it that I'm here?
How am I here doing this right now?
Yeah,
I feel the same way.
and there have been many moments with Sarah where I thought to myself, "Wow, this is really really cool." You know what I mean? Like this is really neat that we're experiencing this
Yeah.
because we go through lots of things like imposter syndrome and feelings of like and all sorts of messages that make us feel like what we're doing is not important.
Are you still blogging to Facebook?
Yeah.
Oh my
We're still blogging to Facebook.
People ask
Dear
me,
Facebook,
Yeah.
today did a podcast.
yeah, and just this like I was like yesterday made me so happy. I was so happy, and it lived on in my heart for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
And even at the end of the day, I was like, wow, it feels great. And but it's a juxtaposition between that and the messages that we feel from other things that make us feel like that art isn't real work and that
Yeah. Oh, speaking my language, bruh.
And that we don't deserve to be paid and
Yeah.
lowballing and all that type of stuff.
I you know, for whatever reason, and this is the tale as old as time, like entertainment is seen as frivolous. Imposter syndrome and what makes a successful artist. And I know for a lot of my peers too, that feels like, am I in a dance company? Am I working for the Stratford Festival? Am I, reaching these pinnacles of what success means or what validity means? And that's just bullshit. Are people enjoying what you're doing? And even if they're not enjoying what you're doing, are you creating something? That's art, right? And I think certainly for your podcast, it's entertaining, it's valuable, it's interesting, it's showcasing regionally people who deserve to be heard in their communities. And I know for myself, there are times where I think like, God, if I had not focused so much of my time on doing this bullshit cabaret stuff and I'd done voice acting, or if I'd done real acting, all these things that are more legitimate, that's not what I want to do. I don't want to do that. I want to do the stuff that I want to do. I want to write my own songs. I want to put my own shows together. I want to do, and I think like, what's more, punk and cool than saying like, I don't need to fit into what you think is marketable or what you think other people want, because I do the things that I want to do. And guess what? I sell out every show I produce. I have people who want to come to see me, anything that I'm doing, because it's fun and it's entertaining. And, it's hard to break free from that. I respect that and I resonate with that a lot as a fellow artist. It's very hard. The imposter syndrome is really difficult to feel like, am I wasting my time? Is this a waste of my time? Do you love it? And do other people love it? Then it's not. It's not a waste of time. If you have time to do it and you love to do it, that's a good use of your time. That goes back to boundaries. That goes back to narcissism talk, Like, what's valuable to me? What makes me feel good? It doesn't matter what other people think is valuable. If I'm paying my bills and my regular life is taken care of and I'm doing things that bring me joy and connect me to people who are like me, which, as a weird artist lady who has a million voices and, all of this kind of stuff that really doesn't fit any mainstream box, it's very valuable for me to be able to connect with people who enjoy what I do and I enjoy what they do. And, I don't know. I think the pandemic too, that's thrown into the mix as well. It's kind of made everybody reevaluate, like, how the fuck am I spending my time? What am I doing with my life? Every hour that passes is an hour of my own life. Am I doing that and spending that time doing things that build me up and keep me wanting to stay alive? That sounds very, very gloom and doom. But for me, that's really what it comes down to. I want to do things that excite me to continue. And the second that I'm not doing that, going back to being a overachieving child who doesn't want to do things unless I'm immediately amazing at them, that's something that resonates in my adult life. Like, is this bringing me joy? Is this bringing other people joy? Is this adding value to my life and pushing me forward into places that I want to stay and I want to be? If the answer is yes, then suck a dick, everyone else,
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Woo! Happy New Year's to everybody at Bonn Park.
Forgot. Sara knows the words. Beep, beep, beep.
Hey all, thanks for meeting us in Bonn Park. Please like, rate, and subscribe to our podcast on the platform that you're listening to. And follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Bonn Park Podcast. Original music by Alan Lung.